The Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita (BNSS) 2023 and the Code of Criminal Procedure (CRPC) 1973 represents true crucial framework governing the system of criminal justice in India. The CRPC 1973 has long served as the foundation of criminal procedures, ensuring the administration of justice in India. The introduction of BNSS 2023 marks a significant shift towards modernization and reforms in India. This comprehensive analysis aims to delve into the structural, procedural, and philosophical shifts between these two codes, examining their implications for the legal landscape in India. Now, let us discuss about the background of the old law, that is CRPC 1973, which was prevalent in the areas of India. The Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 was enacted to consolidate and amend the laws relating to criminal procedures in India. This code replaced the earlier code of 1898 and sought to balance the rights of the accused with the interest of justice and public order. Over the years, the CRPC has undergone various amendments to address the changing societal needs and emerging challenges. Now, let us discuss about the historical concept or context of CRPC 1973, which was prevalent during the mid-medieval period. The CRPC 1973 was introduced at the time when India was undergoing a significant legal and social reforms. Its primary objective was to create a fair and efficient system of criminal justice in India. It provided a detailed framework for the functioning of law, enforcement, and various other agencies, the Indian judiciary, and the other stakeholders in the criminal justice administration system in India. The key features, which includes the procedure for investigation, bail, trial, and sentencing. Since its enactment, the CRPC 1973 has been amended multiple times to adapt the new challenges such as the rise of cybercrime in India and terrorism. These amendments have been aimed to streamline the procedures, which enhances the protection for the accused and improve the efficiency of the judicial process. Now, we will now throw some light on the introduction of new law, that is Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023. The Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which is also known as BNSS, was introduced to address the limitations and lacunae and challenges of the old law, that is the CRPC 1973. This new legislation aims to create a more transparent, efficient, and citizen-centric criminal justice system in India. The BNSS 2023 reflects the contemporary and social leverages, technological advancements to modernize the legal process system in India. The need for reform was driven by several factors such as including the increasing of complexity of crimes, the need for faster delivery of service, and increasing the justice and the growing emphasis on victim and witnesses' rights. The BNSS 2023, that is the Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, aims to address these challenges through comprehensive legal reforms. Now, the main question which arises in the mind of an individual, that what was the need or objective of forming this new law, that is BNSS 2023. Now, discussing about this thing, the BNSS 2023 is guided by several key objectives which a person needs to keep in mind, that what was the intention of the lawmakers in behind. First point was transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability in criminal justice system during the period of investigation and judicial proceedings. The main second key point is timely justice, which means ensuring timely delivery of justice by introducing a stricter timeline for various stages of the criminal and legal process in India. The third point, which is the most important and crucial point, that is the victim and the witness right. The strengthening the rights of protection of victims and witnesses, which ensures their safety and as well as support system to be provided to them during the period of investigation or other procedures. The fourth point, the main key point, is the technological integration, which means leveraging technological advancements to improve the efficiency and accuracy of the legal process. We will now further discuss about the other aspects, that is the structural changes which have been seen under the BNSS 2023. The BNSS 2023 introduced several structural changes which aimed at making the legal code of India more coherent and accessible to each and every individual. The key factors are, first point, reorganization of sections and chapter. The BNSS 2023 features a reorganization of sections and chapters to introduce more clarity and coherence to this law. This restructuring aims to make the legal code more user-friendly for the legal fraternity and professionals and the general public as well. The second key point which needs to be focused is improved definitions and terminologies as compared to the old law. The BNSS 2023 includes the updated definitions and terminologies to reflect the contemporary legal practices and societal changes. Now, how this helps? This helps in reducing the ambiguities and lacunas and ensuring a precise legal framework of system in India. The third point for which the structural change was found was the new provisions for the contemporary issues such as cybercrime and terrorism. The BNSS 2023 includes a new provision to address modern challenges such as cybercrime, organized crime, and terrorism. These provisions are designed to equip the law enforcement agencies with the necessary tools to tackle these issues effectively as well as efficiently. Now, we will discuss about the detailed comparison of the structural elements of CRPC 1973, which is our old law, and the BNSS 2023, which is the new law, which is enforced in India from July 1st, 2024. The CRPC 1973 was structured in a way that catered its needs of its time. However, with the advent of new law, that is Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, several changes have been made and even seen in a new law for the functioning as well as the other purposes. How it is seen? Now let's continue that. The first thing is the chapter reorganization. BNSS 2023 has restructured the chapters to ensure a more logical flow for its content. For example, chapters related to cybercrime has been introduced in an early in the code to emphasize their importance rather as compared to the old code. Second thing, the definitions. Many definitions were in the CRPC 1973 were outdated, now have been revised in the new law. For example, the terms related to digital evidence have been clearly defined more clearly in BNSS 2023. Third thing, the special provisions which were included in BNSS 2023 were dealing with the crimes against women and children, reflecting a more contemporary understanding of these issues in the modern era. Now, the one common question that arises in mind, what procedural reforms were introduced in BNSS 2023? This question has been kept coming in mind of every individual, that what was the need of this new law that needs to become in India. Now, the BNSS 2023 introduced several procedural reforms to streamline the procedure of investigation and trial during the process when accused or any other person is going under trial. Now, how these things have been covered in the BNSS 223, let's find out. First point was the stricter timelines. One of the key reform is the introduction of stricter timelines for the completion of investigation and trials. Now, how it helps? This aims to reduce the delay and ensure timely justice for all parties which are involved during the judicial system. Now, enhance victim and witness protection. This is the second point. The BNSS 2023 includes the enhanced provisions for the provision of victims and witnesses in India. This includes the measures such as anonymity, secure housing, and psychological support to be provided to the victims as well as in witness in certain cases. The third point, how we can use the technology in the collection of evidence. The BNSS 2023 have placed a very greater role and emphasis on use of technology during the procedure of evidence collection and court proceedings. This includes the use of digital forensic, electronic records and video conferencing for hearings as well. The hybrid hearings have been very easy for the other people, like even the accused criminals can be produced through the video conferencing as well. Now, we should now focus upon what were the specific procedural changes which we have seen in this new law, that is Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023. First was specifically going to the investigation timelines. The BNSS 2023 sets a specific guidelines or deadlines for completing the investigation. How it helps? It helps in reducing the scope of unnecessary delays or undue delays, which is in total contrast to the CRPC 1973, where the timelines were often more flexible and subjected to inordinate delays. Now, the new law has also given a new chapter, that is the digital evidence, which mandates the acceptance and use of digital evidence, which was not explicitly covered in our old law, that is CRPC 1973. Now, the new law includes the admissibility of electronic records and data as evidence in court. Although it was covered in the old law, but the more applicability can be found in the new law. Now, third point, that is the victim and witness support. The new law or the new code provides a comprehensive support system for the victim and witness, including a psychological counseling system and protection programs, which is the main thing. This significant enhancement over the provisions of CRPC 1973 have been found in the new law, that is BNSS 2023. Now, it's a time to compare the rights of accused under the old law and the new law, that is the BNSS 2023. Both the laws, that is the CRPC 1973 and the BNSS 2023, upholds the right of accused as well, ensuring a fair trial and protection against arbitrary actions. However, BNSS 2023 introduced more stringent safeguards in case of rights of accused and as well as the rights of victim. We will discuss this in major points in bulletins. That is, first point, protection against the custodial violence, that is during the period when the accused or the person is in the custody of the police. The BNSS 2023 includes a stricter measure to prevent custodial violence and ensure the humane treatment of detainees. Second point, increase access to the legal aid facility to the accused persons who are in the jail during the period of trial. The BNSS 2023 mandates the increased access to legal aid and representation for the accused, ensuring that they have adequate legal support. Third point, clear guidelines on bail and pre-trial detention. Although it was covered in the old law, but the new law defines it more in a clear way. The BNSS 2023 provides a clearer guidelines on bail and pre-trial detention to prevent the misuse and ensure that these measures are applied fairly and consistently. Now, we will compare the enhancements in rights of protection under the old law and the new law. Custodial safeguards, the first point. The BNSS 2023 enhanced the safeguard against the custodial guidelines and custodian violence, includes mandatory medical examination and installation of CCTV cameras in the police station, which can be used in the later procedure of investigation. Second point, legal and rightful representation. The new code ensures that the legal representation is provided to the accused at all the stages of judicial process, whether being investigation, inquiry, or trial, enhancing their ability to mount the robust defense system. Now, the third point, bail procedures under BNSS 2023. It introduced a more transparent as well as consistent guidelines for granting bail, which reduces the scope of arbitrary decisions. Now, a notable aspect of the BNSS 2023 that it focuses on the rights and welfares of the victims as well. Likewise, for example, if I give the example of the old law, which covers the aspect of the victim rights in a light sense. Now, in three main points. First point, the compensation and rehabilitation of victims. The BNSS 2023 includes the provision for compensation and rehabilitation of victims. This ensures that the victims receive a financial support and services to the necessary services. Second point, psychological support. The BNSS 2023 mandates the provision of psychological support to the victims, which helps them to cope with the trauma of the crime which he has faced. Third point, the virtual impact statements. The BNSS 2023 enhances the role of the victim impact statements during the sentencing, which ensures that the voice of victims are heard and considered in the court of law during the judicial proceedings. Now, we will be comparing the analysis of victim rights under the old law and the new law. First comparison will be compensation. Under the BNSS 2023, the compensation schemes are more structured and comprehensive, which ensures timely and adequate support for victims. Second point, rehabilitation. The new code, that is the BNSS 2023, mandates the creation of rehabilitation programs for victims, which includes counseling as well as vocational training, which were not emphasized under the old law, that is the CRPC 1973. Victim impact, which we have also discussed earlier. Victim impact statements, which allow victim to express how the crimes affects their life, are given more and greater importance in BNSS 2023, which influence the sentencing decisions more significantly. Now, we will discuss that how BNSS has covered the aspect of technological integration and technological advancements in India. The BNSS 2023 mandates the use of digital platforms and technology to enhance the efficiency and transparency of the criminal justice system in India. Now, how it ensures, we will discuss in the major points, which will be covered through the bulletins. The first point, that is the digital platform for filing complaints and tracking cases, which is the first major point. The BNSS 2023 requires the use of digital platforms for filing the complaints, tracking of cases, and accessing the legal resources. Now, how it helps? This helps in reducing the paperwork and streamlining the legal process. The second bullet point, that is video conferencing for hearings. The BNSS 2023 encourage the use of video conferences for hearings to reduce the logistical challenges and ensuring timely proceedings, which is usually found during a time when the accused has to travel from judicial custody to the police custody and to the court. Third point, electronic records and digital evidence. The BNSS 2023 mandates the use of electronic records and digital evidence to increase the accuracy and reliability of the legal process. How e-filing and tracking system is also improved, we will discuss about that aspect, which we have discussed in the first point. The introduction of digital platforms for filing and tracking cases under BNSS 2023 had made a significant step towards the bureaucracy and increasing accessibility. Second thing, remote hearings. The second point which we have covered, the use of conferencing for court hearings ensures that the case can proceed without any unnecessary or inordinate delays due to logistical challenges. Digital evidence, the third point. The new code, acceptance of digital evidence, reflects the reality of digital age, which ensures that the crimes involved in technology can also be prosecuted in India more effectively. Now, we will compare the CRPC, that is the Code of Criminal Procedure, and the Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, BNSS, side by side across the various aspects with the practical examples. First point, purpose, the main batch or the main base on which we will compare the both laws. The CRPC provided a detailed procedure for the administration of criminal law in India, but going to the whereas, we will first consider with an example. An FIR is filed when a theft is reported to the police by initiating a criminal investigation. This is the first example which we will compare with the BNSS 2023 new law. Now the new law focuses on more broader aspects of citizen safety and as well as security. How it ensures? It ensures the preventive measures and protection of rights. Now, comparing to the example of the new law, that is the guidelines for handling the communal violence to prevent the escalation and ensuring public safety is a simple example which we can see that the old law is more cognizant, but a new law is more better than the old law. The second main base on which we will differentiate is the scope of the laws. The old law, that is CRPC, applies to all stages of criminal proceedings, be it investigation, inquiry, trial, and as well as the appeal. Now let's take an example of this thing. The process of arresting an individual accused of assault is governed by CRPC, which ensures the lawful arrest procedures. This is the example of the old law. Now, how the new law deals with it? The BNSS encompasses the measures for maintaining the public order and protecting the rights of citizens, enhancing the citizen safety. How it is known? That is, through the example we can explain it. The example is the protocols for the new law for enforcing the larger public demonstration to ensure that it remains peaceful. It is shown in the today news headlines that how the Supreme Court is dealing with the Kawad Yatras and dealing it in a more peaceful manner. The third point, that is the rights and responsibilities. Now, old law, that is the CRPC, specifies the procedural rights of the accused and responsibility of the law enforcement agencies. Let's take an example. In the old law, during the period of trial for a non-bailable offense, the CRPC outlines the conditions or guidelines on which a bail can be granted. As old law says, the bail is a rule and jail is an exception. Now, how the new law deals with it, let's find out. The new law, BNSS, emphasizes the protection of citizen rights and responsibility of authorities to safeguard those rights. How it was taken care of in the new law? It ensures that the accused is informed of their right, such as access to the legal representation, right to legal aid, and protection of inhumane torture. Fourth point of the base, that is the enforcement of laws. The old law, CRPC, enforced through the judicial system with the courts, overseeing the compliance with the procedural rules and laws, which was considered to be the more hectic process. Example, the trial of the murder case follows the procedure laid out in the CRPC, including evidence presentation and witness examination. Now, how the new law governs this example, let's find out. The BNSS 2023, that is the Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, enforced by the law enforcement agencies and other authorities, ensures the public safety and order. Now, how it do it? Let's find out. Through example, the law enforcement of BNSS provides a guidelines to maintain the public order even during the emergencies as well or the natural disasters or calamities, which was not covered in the old law. The main base on which the new law is focusing is the victim protection and compensation. Whereas CRPC also covered certain protection and remedies for the victims' right during its whole criminal justice administration system. But how the new law deals it, we will find out. But through an example of an old law. Old law states that the compensation to the victim of a violent crime is addressed during the trial process as per the CRPC. Now, what the new law states on this, let's find out. The new law, that is BNSS, includes specific provisions for victim protection and compensation outside the judicial aspects. It means it includes the individual, inside and outside processes both. Example, it covers the offering of protection services and compensation to the victims of domestic violence to ensure their safety as well as recovery. Sixth base is the public order and community policing. The old law, that is CRPC 1973, deals more with the legal process and procedures once the crime has occurred. Let's discuss it through an example. For example, a procedure to file for a police charge sheet is after the period of investigation or after proper investigation. Example, taking a case of a robbery. Now, how new law deals about it? The BNSS focuses more on preventive measures and community involvement to maintain the public order and tranquility. Now, how the new law covers this aspect? That is encouraging more policy or community initiatives in neighborhood and reducing petty crimes and improve local security, covering of the local areas of network. Seventh base is the preventive measures. The preventive measures under the CRPC, that is our old law, primarily concerned with the post-incidental legal proceeding, means after the offense has occurred. For example, it could be explained that the process of conducting a trial and appealing a criminal conviction, all of these things covered after the offense has been occurred. Now, how BNSS deals with it? The BNSS emphasizes the preventive measures to avoid the crimes and ensure the citizen's safety, which means more pre-factor is involved. For example, implementing the safety protocols in schools to protect the children from the potential threats. Now, in summarizing of the all 7 points which we have discussed above, the CRPC provided a framework for the procedural aspects of criminal law, dealing with the process from investigation to trials and appeal. While the new law, that is the BNSS 2023, focused on more preventive measures, public order, and the protection of citizens' rights and safety. Now, I will conclude my video with a small statement and a conclusion discussing about the whole of the aspect of comparison of old law to new law. The transition from the old law, that is CRPC 1973, to the new law, that is Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, represents a landmark shift in the India criminal justice system. By addressing the contemporary challenges and incorporating the technological advancements, the Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023 aims to create a more transparent, efficient, and citizen-centric legal framework. The successful implementation of BNSS will require a careful planning, stakeholder engagement, and continuous monitoring. With a well-structured roadmap and proactive approach to address the potential challenges, India can realize the full potential of BNSS 2023. The BNSS 2023 ensures a more just and equitable society. Thank you.